We'll start with the new release of the week. Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Boo. I don't know why I'm booing.
Which
I don't have harsh opinions of this movie.
Interesting that, anytime a director puts their name ahead of a movie, the last one I remember is Lee Daniels' The Butler. So I guess if you're named Lee, you have a great chance to have your name ahead of it. But we have had a lot of Mummy movies, so I get it. It's directed by Lee Cronin, as you can guess. Gave us Evil Dead Rise a couple years ago, which we both really fucking like.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. One of my favorite movies in that franchise.
Yeah.
And this movie is more of a horror spin and kind of investigation a little bit, more so than a adventure movie like the Brendan Fraser Mummies, which I'll talk about in a little bit here. But basically, Jack Rayner plays the dad. Who is it? Maya Calmoy, who plays the mom?
I believe so.
Okay, I think it is. I should have looked that up beforehand.
That's fine. I have a computer too. I can do it.
But the parents and their young daughter, Katie, goes missing. 8 years later, she comes back. Some people find her in a sarcophagus. She comes back and she's all fucked up and weird looking, and she's got some band. Well, he's burping over there. Holy fuck!
Okay, again, just gonna fucking completely hijack this. We do this at Corey's apartment. I'm walking in with this Ham's hat, a rack of Ham's beer, and I'm burping like I'm gonna throw up. And I'm like, what if? What if I throw up on this sidewalk while wearing this hat, carrying the case? What a sign. Anyways, back to Lee Cronin.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Anyways, her daughter comes back and she's really weird, and she's possessed by this demon. So, going into this movie, I was actually pretty excited. I thought the marketing worked really well. The kind of what happened to Katie, all that in the trailer, I thought was pretty nice. And I had a good time with this movie. I liked it. I haven't heard a lot about this movie, I guess. I don't know. Like, a lot of reviewers that I follow, haven't talked about this movie, which is kind of interesting.
John's just posted his review, I think, this morning.
Yeah, but what I liked most about this movie is kind of what I liked about Evil Dead Rise, which is kind of a, just in a house, for the most part, horror movie.
Yeah. And
I think it is a longer movie for this type of movie. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I was worried about that length, but I think that it worked well because we had the family dynamic between, like, the parents trying to figure out what to do with their daughter. I'll get into some negatives with that in a little bit, but we had all that, and then we also had an investigation from this detective that was trying to figure out where Katie was for these 8 years and what she was doing.
The detective is played by May Calamawy, and then the mother in the family is played by Laia Costa, I believe. Okay,
thank you for that. But I like those two different things that helped it keep it a little bit more fresh, just to like kind of bounce between those two things.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting just to see that investigation of what the fuck happened, and you find a VHS tape. Anytime there's an old VHS tape of like, here's what happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's freaky. So I had a good time. It's definitely a gross out movie. There's a lot of gore in this movie. Much like Evil Dead Rise 2, but there's scenes of somebody clipping toenails and then just skin from the shin rips all the way up.
It felt like a Family Guy joke to me a little bit of it just ripped. I was like, yeah.
It was like, there's
everyone's main fear, but also just the thickest, nastiest nails. Oh my god.
There's a scene of a tongue coming underneath a door and licking toes.
I appreciate it. I thought that was fucking baller. That is dedication.
That is dedication. I don't know how a tongue does that, but it's funny, and it's a demon, so who gives a fuck? And there's scenes of just, like, teeth being pulled, which that always gets me, too. So, a lot of gory stuff in this movie. I had a good time with it. It's not, like, a groundbreaking movie. I don't like it as much as Evil Dead Rise, but I do think it was a fun experience, kind of Lee Cronin's vision of The Mummy, because we've had adventure movies in the past, because we've had other takes on it. I like this horror take.
Yeah, I overall enjoyed this movie. I had a little bit more higher expectations, just like Corey mentioned. We both really liked Evil Dead Rise, and this feels a lot like he wanted to do another Evil Dead movie. Like, this movie has almost like, it just is lacking some of that sense of humor about it that you get in Evil Dead. This has a lot of that same kind of effect. A lot of the gross out images, somewhat possessed child saying horrible things, doing horrible things. The one thing I do, like, the massive positive I have is, I think, the setup of this movie. I think flashing back, I forget where Jack Rayner's character is stationed, and he's a journalist, but where he's working, and how the daughter gets abducted, and kind of also the backstory to why she got abducted. I liked that exploration of the captor and what her family has to go through and her lineage and why they need to sacrifice a person and do this kind of ritual. I really thought that was really interesting. The performances overall were really good. I didn't think that the movie was ever scary, which is fine. Horror movies sometimes just aren't scary. I did enjoy, kind of like what you were mentioning, the more investigational, trying to figure out and like crack the case as to why this happened. Because we have the answer, like we have Katie back, but now it's like, okay, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. Why did this happen? I like horror films that kind of take a different edge, and at moments, this film reminded me of The Empty Man, in that regard of like trying to like what is going on here. There are negatives I have, and we can dive into those in a minute. Overall, I think the performances are good. Not really scary. The practical effects, the gore was really good. None of it really got to me, except for I forget if someone sneezed blood onto deviled eggs.
Yes, yeah.
And then a woman ate them. And I'm like, okay, it's a movie. There's a cut in between that's not actually on there. Like, but I'm like, and then when people chew in this movie, it's just mixing Kraft mac and cheese.
The sound design in this movie is fantastic.
Sometimes it's a bit over the top for me, but in moments like that, when that woman just throws a deviled egg, which is a fucking god tier food.
Oh yeah.
But you throw a deviled egg in, and you get in the smushy of of her chewing with blood splatter like paprika all over these deviled eggs. I was like, I'm gonna fucking throw up in my seat right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought the movie was like overall fine. I guess to get into some of the negatives, my main pushback is just like, I love that the doctors are like, hey, your daughter, she looks fucked, right? You guys can take her home. She'll be fine. She just needs some quality family time.
Physically, there's nothing wrong with her, but
look at her.
She needs some love.
She's damn near missing an eye. Like, her nails are fucking, like, Guinness World Record winding and turning and spiraling along. Like, no, she's not okay. You guys don't want to keep her under observation for a little bit longer? It was like a hot, like half a day, and they're like, nah, she's good. Send her out. Not in this healthcare system. Get out of here. I don't know. I thought that there's kind of a redundancy of the main conflict, or like the conflict between the couple of Jack Rayner and Lia Costa of she shouldn't be here or she should be here, and them flip-flopping back and forth and having that same conversation and them changing perspectives too many times to where I was like, I feel like you guys should have been on the same page way earlier with this. Mm-hmm. A person has died in your family now because of her being here. Something's wrong. And I think while it is Lee Cronin's The Mummy and it is a new interpretation of Mummy and that lore, I like the backstory and the setup, but I feel like in that latter half you kind of lose sight. It just kind of turns into a home possession movie. It feels similar to like An Exorcist, of just this somewhat freaky girl that's disfigured, that has like these somewhat supernatural capabilities, fucking with things and turning their entire family's lives upside down. So it kind of just boils down into familiar territory, but I really did still appreciate that setup.
Yeah, I agree with like the family dynamic, because there's a certain point in the movie where Jack Rayner and his wife, they're like having an argument, and he's like, hey, we might need some help with her because she's not normal.
Yeah.
I forget like what had happened that kind of spurred that, but he's like, we might need some help. And she's like, yeah, you're the reason that she fucking left. Also, fuck you.
Yeah.
We don't need help. It's my daughter. I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like you right now. This is dumb.
Like, basically blaming him for, like, oh, I was at work when she got kidnapped and you were watching her, or supposed to be watching her when she got kidnapped. And he's like, okay, I've also watched her a lot of other times where she didn't get kidnapped. Like, to blame me for that now still is just so shitty. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's also like, hey, you didn't notice that this weird old lady was giving her candy at the gate or whatever.
Regularly?
Yeah, and has like a stash in her room. But I think, one of my main issues is the reaction that people have in this movie doesn't feel warranted to what we saw previously. So, like, something really fucked up and weird will happen.
And it just kind of resets.
And it's just like, they see Katie doing some weird shit, or she'll like fucking headbutt the grandma in this movie, or she'll bite somebody, or she'll be crawling through these like tunnels kind of like behind the walls, through these little doors. And then the family's just like, yeah, she probably just needs some sleep.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. So it just felt like
a little dehydrated today, Katie.
Yeah, it feel like it took a long time to get to the point where it's like, all right, we need to fucking get this thing out of her, this demon, or like do more research on that. Also, I like Jack Reynor a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's good, and I like him in this movie. But there is a point in the third act of the movie, there's a part I really like, and then there's a part that I'm like, eh. Part I really like is when they're watching the VHS tape of her and what happened, where he's just like, his mouth is open, and he's just watching it. He's like, that's my daughter. Like, this is, what the fuck is going on? He's just in shock. He doesn't say anything. Everybody else is kind of running off and doing stuff, and he's still sitting there.
Yeah.
I really like that. But then once we get into kind of the more action-y third act of the movie, where, you know, there's sand coming in and the demon stuff happening, his reactions again are kind of just like, his mouth is just open. He's just like, and it's just like, I need a little bit more here.
Yeah.
I need something. So I think that's kind of a common theme for me. One stylistic choice that I don't know the specific name of this shot, but it's where the foreground and the background are both in focus.
Oh yeah.
And I apologize for not knowing the name of it, but it's, you know, you have the person in the foreground, they're in focus. It's kind of a blur in the middle, and then there's a person in the background also in focus. They use that shot so much in this movie, and I feel like I remember that in Evil Dead Rise a little bit too, but this one for me, like, it just was kind of distracting because of how much it was used, and I think it can be used in a sparing way, and it's pretty effective. The one that I think of is in Us, Jordan Peele's movie, when at the end with Lupita Nyong'o, when she's like on the like chalkboard or like whatever, like cutting the things, and like it's both Lupita Nyong'o's there. So I think when you use it sparingly, it's good. This movie just used it a lot, and it was just kind of interesting choice to utilize that much.
Yeah, I like that shot. I couldn't find like a technical name for it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it is a pretty common thing. Like Sam Raimi uses it a good deal too, which like Lee Cronin's directorial, like his flair is very reminiscent of Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
But I think like sometimes there's shots like that where they have both foreground and background in focus, and they have like that blurred center section, and sometimes it looks good. Sometimes I'm like, I get what you're doing, but it's lost its effect because this image looks ugly. Yeah. Like, where the blurred section of the image is a full third of what's on in the frame. I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing, but this isn't working here. I think I also, another positive, I like kind of most of the ending. There's like kind of like an epilogue where they go and curse the people that cursed them. And I'm like, okay, I don't need this. But I like, there's a sacrifice moment where a character has to do something and put their life on the line for Katie, and I really liked that. And I liked, if the movie ended there, I'd be like, sweet, perfect. Because this movie is 2 hours 14. It is a little long in the tooth because it does kind of do the same setup of like, Katie's doing a weird thing, put her back in her room. Well, isn't that weird? She needs help. And then, reset and redo. And it just kind of gets a little repetitive. I feel like we could have cleaned it up and then also drop off that little epilogue of them being like, all right, now we want revenge. I'm like, I don't need this. Overall, though, it was a good enough time. I wanted it to be a little bit better. I was a little disappointed just because of how much I like Evil Dead Rise. I still am really interested to go back and watch The Hole in the Ground that Lee Cronin did a while back. But, yeah, and Jack Reynor, I feel like he's really popping up a lot in horror movies this midsummer. And I think there's something else I can't even remember, but I'm really starting to like him as a leading man. There are some kind of moments in this film where he just has that same expression. But I think the rest of the cast, and the kids especially, were great.
Natalie Grace as Katie was really good.
Natalie Grace as Katie was good. The youngest sister of Katie, Maud, played by Billy Roy, she is so adorable, but there's a scene where she's just at a table just picking teeth out, and I'm like, oh, God, no.
There's a really funny scene with her when, and that's, I think, a thing this movie does well, is has some good humor in there, too.
Yeah.
But she, like, goes up to the door where Katie's in, and Katie starts talking, like, the first time she's talked since coming back.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I can talk with you now. And the youngest daughter's like, holy shit, I'm going to go tell Mom. This is really funny. Yeah. I do agree with the kind of epilogue there, to get into spoilers a little bit, if you haven't seen Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Yeah, like Jack Rayner kind of sacrifices himself and gets this demon into his body. And it's,
yeah, he does.
Hell yeah, he does.
Get into it, buddy.
Get into it. And I think it's like a really good moment of like a father sacrificing for his family's future. I really like that. And then it's undone immediately, like 2 minutes later, where they go to the mental institution or the prison, wherever the girl that captured Katie, and they just transport it back into her, where it just felt like we're like, all right, we're flip-flopping this demon so much, and it kind of it lessens the impact of that sacrifice because you wanted to end on kind of a revenge note.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't crazy about the ending. I don't hate it, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, it's a good movie. It's not going to be one that I don't know, that I remember a lot when this year comes to an end and I'm making my top 10 of the year, like even honorable mentions or anything like that. I think it's good. I enjoy Lee Cronin's style. I like some of the gross out stuff. Some of it got to me. But it's okay. It's very fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It sucks that that's like the best we could give it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's fine. If you are a horror fan, you can go check it out. It's not going to be, when I hear the name The Mummy, or a movie referred to as The Mummy, it's not the one I'm reaching for. Like, I'm reaching for the Brendan Fraser movies.